Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. My name is Mal and I make Tumbler tutorials here on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be making a half and half split tumbler, and we're gonna go just totally happy, colorful, bright, and groovy. I will have a full supply list down below in the description box for you if you would like to know where I'm getting all of the things I'm using in this video. I'll also have links to all of my social media pages, so if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, join my Facebook group, or join my exclusive mentorship group, MBMM Elite, you can find all of those links down in the description box as well. I had so much fun making this tumbler, and I really hope that you guys enjoy the video. Let's go! Alright, for this groovy, fun, happy tumbler, we are going to be using a 30-ounce Stubby from Craft Haven, and we're going to get started with the tie-dye sheet of vinyl. Both of the vinyl sheets we're using are from Peachy Olive Glitters. So we're going to start with the tie-dye, and we're going to start by splitting our cup in half vertically. So I'm going to take a piece of blue painter's tape and just place it in the middle of the bottom of the tumbler, and I'll lay the tape where I think the middle is, and then I'll take my measuring tape here and actually measure out to make sure that my two halves are even. Now with this pattern, I really only want the main tie-dye swirl for this portion of the cup. So I'm going to take the middle of our vinyl sheet and I'm going to try to place it in the middle of the tumbler, and then we will cut the sheet down. So we are kind of wasting a little bit of the vinyl, but for the end result, I think it was worth it. So I'm going to measure this, or kind of eyeball it. I'm not actually measuring. And then I'm going to cut my vinyl down so that it fits within the section or the half of the cup that we have taped out. Once we're ready to apply the vinyl to our tumbler, I'm going to remove a little bit of the backing. This is the same process that I have for every single time I apply pattern vinyl to my tumblers. You can see I had a little bit of trouble here. I wasn't applying it perfectly, I don't know, but I just fiddled with it and I got it right eventually. So once I've got this little sliver of vinyl on my tumbler, I can take my vinyl scraping tool with the felt edge and smooth the vinyl onto my cup. I'm going to take my craft knife and cut off all of the excess vinyl from the sides of my cup. I'm just using the pieces of tape as a guide to help me cut as straight as possible. I definitely have trouble with this, but the slower you go, the better it is. So I'm going to remove the vinyl from the sides, and then I'm going to go up to the top of the cup and pull that vinyl as tightly over the top rim as I can, and then I'll take my craft knife and run it along the top rim to trim up all of that excess, and then I'll take my knife at a 45-degree angle and just kind of shave off all of that excess vinyl at the top of the cup. Once I'm ready to move down to the bottom, I'm going to remove my two pieces of tape. I'm going to set it aside because I'm going to use it again in just a minute, and then I'm going to take my cut edging tool from CAMIPAIGE Boutique, and I'm going to trim off all of this excess vinyl from the bottom, and we're going to glitter the bottom the same color that we're going to glitter the other side of the tumbler, so everything kind of flows together naturally a little bit. So I'm going to take that same piece of blue painter's tape that I had before, and I'm going to place it on the edge of the vinyl side now so that we can paint and glitter the rest of this cup. We're going to paint this other side of the cup with white acrylic paint. I'm going to do 2 coats of the paint, so I'm going to go in first with just the acrylic paint by itself. I'm using the Ceramcoat brand as always. This is my absolute favorite kind of acrylic paint. It is the best. And I'm using a really soft, fluffy brush. These are from the Crystalac Company. And I'm going to do this coat of paint, let my cup dry for about like 30-45 minutes, and while it's drying I'm going to make my glitter mix. So I'm taking Nookie and Guy Diamond, both from Peachy Olive Glitters, and I'm doing a mix of about 75% Nookie, 25% Guy Diamond. I wanted like a little bit of a holographic white, so I mixed those together, and now I'm ready to go in and apply it to my tumbler. So I'm taking a little bit more of the white acrylic paint and I'm mixing it with the Crystalac glitter glue, and we're going to use that to apply the glitter. Immediately after glittering, I'm going to remove all of the remaining blue painter's tape from my tumbler. I don't want the glitter glue to dry on the tape and risk ruining that glittered section, so I like to remove my tape right away. I use my tweezers just to make it a little bit easier. And once all of my tape is removed, I'm gonna do kind of like a almost jacket method glitter application on the tie-dye side. I wanted to add just a tiny hint of shimmer to this side, so I'm going to put the glitter glue on, and then I'm going to take Bright, which is also from Peachy Olive Glitters. It's a really pretty extra fine white, and I'm going to glitter this entire section, and then I'm going to put a glove on and basically just rub all of the glitter off. My goal here is to just have a tiny little hint of sparkle and shimmer. I don't want anything too intense. I don't want to cover up the tie-dye, obviously. Just wanted a little bit of something, something. I let my glitter layer dry for about 2 hours, and then I was ready to go in and seal it. Now to seal, I use a 50-50 ratio of the glitter glue and water. I feel like it just makes it a whole lot easier to seal. The glue goes a little bit further when you dilute it with water. So I'm just gonna go in and seal my glitter side, and then I'll also seal the tie-dye side. I let that dry for at least 2 hours as well, and then I went in with 2 coats of epoxy and made sure that my cup was totally smooth and shiny before this next step. So the reason I want my cup to be shiny and not sanded is because the vinyl that we're using is semi-transparent, so it's got a lot of clear sections, and if we put that on top of a sanded surface, when we go in and epoxy over the top of that, you're not going to see any shine with epoxy. You're going to still see that dull sanded surface. So you want to make sure that you have a shiny epoxied surface before you go in with this next step. And as you can see here, I'm taping off all of these edges of my tumbler. I'm also taping off this bottom section of the tumbler because I want both bottom edges of each of my sheets of vinyl to be the same. I don't want the tie-dye vinyl to end and then the smiley face vinyl to go all the way down to the bottom rim, if that makes sense. I want them to be even. So like I said, this is a semi-transparent sheet of vinyl, so all of these white sections that you see are going to be clear and the glitter is going to show through. So I'm going to take this sheet and I'm just going to cut it down to size so that it fits this half of our cup, and then we will apply it. Once my vinyl is cut down to size, I'm going to put it on my cup with the backing still on, make sure that everything is trimmed the right way, everything fits, and then I'm going to get rid of that bottom piece of the tape, and then we will get to applying this to our tumbler. So I'm going to peel away a little bit of the vinyl from the backing, and then I'll cut that backing away so that we have a little bit of the vinyl adhesive exposed, and then I'll take the end of the vinyl that doesn't have the adhesive exposed, and I'm going to start on that side. So I'm going to put that even with our bottom edge of our tie-dye, remember, and then I'm going to try to just line that up with the tape. I'm going to have a little bit of overlap, and that's okay, we can cut it off later. And then I'll smooth the vinyl on, putting the vinyl adhesive side down last, as you can see there. So then once I've got that on, I'm going to take my squeegee and push the rest of the vinyl onto the cup. Now, this giant squeegee is from the Bowen. My friend Rachel sent this to me, and oh my gosh, you guys, this is the best thing ever. It was so easy to smooth this entire sheet of vinyl onto this cup in one swoop. Look at that. I'm addicted to this thing. Make sure you go to the Bowen on Etsy and grab this tool. Oh my gosh, it's going to change my whole life. So once I've got the vinyl on the tumbler, I'm going to again follow those lines of tape to cut off any excess vinyl that we have from this smiley face side, and then we will move on to the next thing. All right, now for the decal on this tumbler, I wanted to do something that was really bright and fun and happy. So I grabbed these two different colors of Teckwrap craft vinyl. I've got fluorescent orange and reflective coral. And we're going to use both of these colors along with some white vinyl to create a double offset decal to go on this tumbler and fit the bright, happy vibes that we've got here. And I wanted to share with you a little kind of trick that I use if I've got a whole bunch of sheets of vinyl that I want to use and I don't really know what order I want to put them in, like in their offsets. By the way, reflective coral, holy cow, very reflective. So what I like to do is cut a little bit of each piece of vinyl or each color, and then I'll layer them in small little sections like you can see here. And that sometimes helps me decide like what I want to be the front, what I want to be the actual back offset layer. And that's just kind of a thing that I like to do to help me make a decision. So in doing that, I decided to do the fluorescent orange as the very bottom layer, and then we'll do white in the middle, and then for the top, we'll use the reflective coral. And now I'm going to do something that I don't typically do. I'm gonna layer this decal before I actually put it on the tumbler. I don't know why I was just feeling like doing this, but typically, as you guys know, I will layer my vinyl while it's on the cup, but if you want to layer it beforehand, you absolutely can. So I'm going to layer the white to the bottom offset, and then I'm going to carefully remove my transfer tape and then go in and apply the transfer tape to the top layer. Now, just a warning, the reflective coral is absolutely beautiful, but for whatever reason, it hates transfer tape. So just be really careful when you remove it. It took me a really long time to try to get the backing off. I ended up cutting my vinyl into two pieces, the quote into two pieces, just so I could apply it a little bit easier. I didn't want to risk having it not come off and mess up the whole entire thing. So just keep that in mind. Maybe you just need to use a stronger transfer tape. I tried two different types and it was hard both ways. So anyway, just be prepared for that. Keep that in mind if you're going to use these reflective colors. They are super, super gorgeous and a little bit of a struggle, but I think they're worth it. So anyway, now that we've got our decal ready, we can move in and do all of the rest of our vinyl work. So before I add my decal though, I'm going to go in and add all of my striping. I'm using my favorite striping vinyl, the Teckwrap Craft Champagne Gold Textured Metallic Vinyl. And I'm gonna put one strip on the bottom edge of our cup over the bottom edge of both of our sheets of vinyl so that we have that kind of continuous flow throughout the cup. And then I'll add the striping to the sides where our two vinyl sheets meet. Okay, now it's time to apply our decal. Now I went back and forth on which side of the cup I wanted to apply this to, but I decided on the smiley face side, and I do think that the bright orange pops a whole lot better off the smileys than it would off of the tie-dye, so I'm glad I did that. So once I've got the transfer tape on, I'm going to remove the backing and then put it back on because the vinyl has trouble sticking to the transfer tape, so I wanted to make sure that it would come off easily before I've got it like all set up to put on my cup, because I didn't want to get it like ready to place on the cup and then have to take it off and take the backing off, if that makes sense. So I have a little bit of the transfer tape hanging off the edge of one side of my backing, and I'm going to use that to keep the decal in place while I measure and make sure sure that it is centered in this half of the cup. And then I'm going to remove the transfer tape and just hinge the decal down onto my tumbler, make sure it's secured onto the cup, and then remove my transfer tape. Once I've got that done, I'm going to go in with my final 2 coats of epoxy, and we are all done. So here is the final result. I am so happy with how this turned out. This gives me bright, happy summer vibes big time. I had so much fun making this, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, love you, bye. Oh, and Bailey says hi. Why did I just lose everything that was in my brain? Do you guys like the tutorial? Ah.